Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's good to see you. If you can see me, I can see you. I'm trying to get my little computer to work. The little gerbils this morning are giving me a hard time, but I think we're fine. So, welcome to February. Where did January go? It was like one day it's the new year, and next thing you know, we're in February. And man, what was a action-packed second week. I don't even know if it's the second week of the president's administration. I mean, time is flying. Let's see here. Let's look back. Yeah, it was second week. The second week of President Trump's term, and he is just going through and exposing things and causing trouble. Not for us, for the bad guys. That's good. So, speaking of someone who does not cause trouble, at least as far as I know, is Chris Cordani. Chris, good morning. Well, maybe he's going to cause trouble
Now
today.
our
I don't know.
gerbils are causing trouble here too. That was a
Yeah,
little slow on the draw. I am
I
not
know. I
going to
don't
beat
get
the,
it.
I'm not going to beat the gum fighter today. Remember the gum
It's
fighter?
I don't know what's going on with all this electronic stuff. Maybe the Democrats have gotten to the zeros and ones. Do you think it is that they think they've gotten to the? They're pretty binary. Can you be binary and be a Democrat? I guess you. I
No,
guess
you have to be non-binary to be a Democrat. We
non-binary.
should know that. So they're against anything binary. They're
Because that's
probably
the
going
thing. Zeros and ones are binary. It's either a zero or a one, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's one or the other.
to
It's
not
kind of what
unless
President Trump
not
said, right? We're all
not.
binary.
But what if one of those ones identify as a two?
Well, that's what's happening this morning because that's why we're having all the problems with electronics. They don't want to be twos.
That's what happens.
That's
Oh,
what's going on. They all want to be something they're not, and they're slowing things down. So, but it was man. I had a busy Newsmax week for those who follow me, and next thing you know, I'm getting calls. I'm out with dinner with my sons, and next thing I know, they want me on. And I was at brunch yesterday, and they needed me. So it's been an action-packed week because so many things are going on. It's like every time we turn, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting an FBI agent who's been kicked out of the Washington D.C. bureau. All right,
absolutely.
I love cats, so don't write the show. So
Everybody
yeah,
likes cats.
don't complain. Don't complain to Ed. Good morning, Ed. Good morning to our evil overlord. So
Oh, not only do we like cats, I'm not sure. I'm actually not big on the play. I saw it.
no,
I wasn't a big fan. I like T.S. Eliot, but
no,
I like cats, but not the play.
yeah. Well, apparently, I never saw the play, but I'm not going to see the movie because the movie apparently sucks worse than Rosie O'Donnell's glasses,
Hmm.
and it's bad from what I've saw. I mean, like the CGI doesn't work. You can see like cat pieces with human pieces, and they're not good pieces. I guess I've never seen it. I just I listen to the reviews, and the reviews really suck. So
The reviews are good, but I barely listen to the reviews anyway. When reviews say
I don't
something's
think
good,
so.
right? When
I don't think
reviewer
so.
when
Not in the
reviewers
movie.
say something's good, it usually does suck.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that I don't even know how to describe it, I'll just say it. What's this with Kanye West's Grammy thing? I don't think we could show it on the show. I'm not asking you to put it up.
Yeah, we
I'm
can't put
saying
that one up. Yes,
that was like what?
and yep,
They were escorted out of the Grammys?
but it's
I mean,
it's another award show where these liberals pat themselves on the back, give themselves awards, and spew their leftist garbage. And of course, somebody speaks up about that. They're not allowed. They're not allowed in the club anymore.
yeah. Well, I it's one thing to speak up and say this is insane. It's another thing to show up and say, "Hey, I'm insane," and look at my naked girlfriend. It's like,
Well,
what?
yeah, I just that's an attention getting outfit, if you will.
So what's next? Are they going to have simulate sex on the runway? Is that what's coming next? I mean, this is insane.
There are
This is
certain
like
things you
nutty
just
insane.
don't want to see. No, it's disgusting.
No, I'm just saying it's like, and I think the German officials took it upon themselves to say, we're Europeans, but we're not, and we like, nudity, but we don't like nudity in the middle of award shows. So it wasn't the adult video award shows, just saying. So I guess they were not happy about that. So, oh, well, it happens.
Yes.
But there were other things going on that people were upset about. So, Chris, what else do we want to talk about this morning before we bring our guest on?
Well, you didn't know that Kanye West was in a porn movie, right?
No, I did
Nope.
not know that because no, I did not. I'm not a follower of Kanye yet West porn.
No, the reviewers said that his music and his acting was kind of stiff, but that's another story for
Ooh.
another day.
I
Anyway,
wonder if he could, he could hawk Viagra, I suppose. Maybe.
oh,
I don't know.
yeah, I gotta
He
tell
could
you,
like he
and I
could like
never.
he could like throw it out to the crowds, like throw it out, like candy.
And
So
by the way, for the record, I never thought any of their Kardashians were remotely attractive. They all look the same. They're all kind of greasy, and they're kind of like
yeah,
that
they're
spoiled
like
princess look
Stepford
that I
wives.
never liked. Never liked them.
They're the Stepford
Yeah,
wives.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
the
only
Stepford wives, exactly.
yeah. All these people get famous off like tragedies. You think about this. You have Al Sharpton, the Tawana Brawley tragedy here, or actually the fake story. But it was a tragedy because there were people who
Yeah,
were blamed and had their lives ruined. He took advantage. He's a star. The Kardashians, their father, he was involved with the OJ trial. Now the brats are a star, and
yeah,
now worse yet, that kid with that
yeah.
huge head, that little snot nosed David Hogg, has been elected a vice chair, one of the
Vice
vice
chair.
chairs
Yeah,
of the Democrat National Committee.
yeah. I mean,
Again,
he must weigh all of like 98 pounds or something. I mean, he's like a 98-pound weakling.
but he
Ah,
took advantage of the Parkland tragedy for political gain. And
oh
these are the
yeah,
kind of people Democrats adore and they worship. This has to be known. It has to be spread around. I mean, this is a
yeah.
fact. And these are the go-to. These are thought leaders for the Democrats. Speaking of
So
not,
yeah, go ahead. I was wondering, did he sing any songs like the other black folks there at the convention? I know a lot of singing going
no,
on.
no, but I will say that he keeps trying to tell us he's not related to Boss Hogg. I still think there's some kind of relation there.
I think so too.
Yes,
Yeah,
there we go. Jefferson Davis David Hogg. There we go.
yeah.
Did you see what happened in Los Angeles over the weekend?
So I did, and I think just a program note for the Patriots: if you're flying another nation's flag in the United States, I don't think you're American. I don't think you want to be American, right, Chris? I mean, I don't think I'm
No,
missing anything here.
no, you're flying another nation's flag. You're
Yeah,
basically telling people, "I'm one of them. I'm one of the people who should be deported." Okay, I'm joking about this. I'm not saying us and them, but you're saying you're not an American citizen. You're one. Yeah, and I know they'll say, "But aren't you supporting the other nation?" Well, if you're supporting people who want to stay here, put up an American flag and say, "Look, we want them here as Americans." That's fine, and you don't have to block the freeway. I'm sick and tired of these leftists who don't have to get up and go to work every day, blocking the freeway for people who do or have to go see their relatives or do something. Maybe go see somebody in the hospital or maybe take somebody to the hospital. These people don't care about anybody but themselves. They tell us we're
no,
selfish, but they're the ones. They're horrible. I
right, of
say,
course.
plow through them. I don't care. You stand in the middle of the road. We were always told as kids not to play in traffic. Well, okay, I was told as a kid to play in traffic, but I knew what was going on. The fact is, these people stand in traffic. They should basically face those consequences.
Yeah. So you gonna play the video?
I will. It's a very short one, but I have a better one after
It is
that.
short. It is short.
There you go there. And it gets
Yeah.
better. At night, the LAPD finally said, "Oh, we're giving up." Or maybe they were ordered to do so. I'm not sure exactly what happened. But let's see this little scene here. And I want to point out two things, as
Yeah.
this is a very typical liberal leftist protest. You're going to find a lot of things. You're going to find people partying up and wandering around like they don't even know what they're protesting. And secondly, the first picture here tells you exactly that they're in California. One, the guy wore his obligatory mask. Remember, if you're a
Oh
liberal, you
yeah.
have to wear that as part of your uniform. And
Yep.
note the upper left-hand corner, all our patriots here. Look at the gas prices they're paying in Los Angeles. It's slightly blurred, but you're looking at
I drove by
770.
that gas station, I think. Yeah, when I was out there last.
Uh, It,
It's nuts.
it,
It's like $4 to $5 a gallon. I don't know how they do it or why they do it.
well, up here it's saying 778,
Yeah.
I mean, they, how can you live in California and how do you keep voting these people in? Let's watch what the LAPD decided, or at least may have been told to decide to stand down and just let them go. They're all taking their videos, their selfies. Another obligatory mask. See that? Amazing.
Yeah.
That chick with a selfie. Or the camera, I should say. There's your typical white girls in there, but there's a couple really good ones in here. There's the kid partying up with his smart water.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
Does this not tell you California? This guy looks like he's underage. He's hanging around a protest.
These people are like rejects from a Grateful Dead concert.
Smart water. Plenty of alkaline, though.
Yeah.
And the masks. Okay. Now you see in the middle here, the obligatory, I think that's a white girl or white, I don't know, it could be a dude, it could be whatever. It's
That's
California.
Axl Rose. That's
right.
Axl Rose.
But draped in the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
This is typical.
If you're flying the Mexican flag, then you go back to Mexico. Just saying, it's kind of like, yeah, that's good. We're gonna send you back there. That's a good thing. So.
If you are American citizens, you want to be American citizens, then represent like you are. But it's almost like, hey, yay for Mexico, but don't send them there. It's a place. It's what Trump said it was. That's exactly what they're doing when they're flying the flags. They're telling you, yeah, we Viva Mexico if we or anybody else doesn't have to go back there.
Man, oh man. So it's nuts. If I were the police, I would just have taken those people and arrested them all. It's like, a matter of fact, I don't think Tom Homan is set up for California yet, but if I were them, I would have a hybrid military and INS group come just kind of rolling through and picking up everybody, arresting everybody and sorting them out later. And I don't mean deporting them all. I'm just saying, if you're on that road and you're protesting illegally, I don't know the laws up in New York, but here in North Carolina or in Virginia, which I know the laws because I have to work with law enforcement. If you're in the road, if you're standing in the road, they can arrest you just because you're in the road.
Except for Clause 83 in New York. Clause 83 is except for liberals.
Ah, well, there you go.
And by the way, you're saying you're saying the police can handle this matter. Well, I'm not exactly sure what Sting, Andy Summers, and Stuart Copeland can really do, but maybe they can sing to everybody and calm them down. Maybe it could do better than what the city officials told the LAPD to do. All right, that's a bad one. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I love the police, but I don't know if they'd be very effective in this. I don't know. Sting is pretty. You could have him do that. You know, he played a character in Dune. Yeah, and you saw that the director of Dune passed a few days ago, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I thought of something that might. Here's a gentleman I talked to in the past who apparently had some dealings with intelligence. You might know this better than I do. Is Stuart Copeland's dad, Miles Copeland?
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yes. Maybe
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but it's very possible.
Could be Chuck Barris too. Remember Chuck Barris?
Yeah, Chuck Barris supposedly. Well, Skunk Baxter. Well, you don't know. I don't know if you know Skunk.
I've heard of Skunk Baxter. Yes.
Skunk Baxter. You know why he got the nickname?
No.
Because he worked at the Skunk Works at Lockheed Martin.
Yeah. That sounds pretty cool.
He was a brainiac. Yeah, that's where he got his. Yeah, he didn't stink. He was a smart guy. That's how he got the nickname.
Skunk. I'm gonna have to pull him up one of these days.
He worked in the Skunk Works.
Yeah.
So there's some pretty smart musicians, and some pretty stupid ones too. I don't know. Stuart Copeland's probably pretty smart. I like his stuff. Like Lady Gaga.
Well, Stuart Copeland had a side project in the 80s called Clark Kent, spelled with K's leading the first. So it's Clark with a K and Kent with a K. Very good band. Very good project.
And what was the other guy? Andy
Summers.
Andy Summers. I actually bought his solo album. I like his stuff, believe it or not. I love Andy Summers.
Great player. He actually did the theme to Space Odyssey 2010, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. And he did not do any themes with Lady Gaga. Just saying. So he's probably smart for doing that. So
Yeah, I'm with you there.
yeah,
The actual yeah. Here's a
skunk
funny
works.
one.
Yeah.
At the end of Mojo Nixon's "Don Henley Must Die" song, uh, what was it? Oh yeah, that's right. Mojo Nixon yells, "And the same goes for you too, Sting." Anyway, it's a good one too. Uh,
Well, I'm trying to think of David. David Lynch. We're referring to David Lynch who passed, and
yeah, he
David
did recently.
David was a very close to one of our friends, one of my friends, who I can't mention her name but you
Yeah,
probably can if she's close with David Lynch. You could probably figure out she was in one of his projects, which is true.
right.
But that's all I can say. Anyway, David Lynch was a brilliant man, very by all accounts, people I've spoken to knew him as a good guy, and obviously his link to the police is Sting because I will kill you. Remember, that's what he said. Sting
That's
said
right.
that. And I didn't say that. Sting said that. I'm not going to kill you, Chris. That's not a threat. Just say it.
Yeah,
Right? Don't take that as a threat.
that's a
I'm quoting.
compliment.
Should
That's
I
a
do
compliment.
should I do air quotes? I will kill you. That's what he said.
There
I
was
will kill him.
there was a great movie with the great Carmine Capabianco, who also passed on, called Psychos in Love, and I recommend this to anybody. The best
Hmm,
slasher movie ever. Psychos in Love.
really?
These two these
Psychos in
two
love.
these two serial killers were looking for love, but they also murdered their dates. So what happened was they
Huh.
actually finally went on a date together, and when they finally realized they loved each other, Carmine's character goes, "You know what? I got to tell you something. I'm not going to kill you." And then she's like, "Yeah, me too. I'm not going to kill you either." And they went all. It was a great movie. I got to tell you, it was, and they got married. It was a beautiful love story and a great slasher movie all in one. And they also hate grapes.
Yeah,
Uh,
interesting. Did they go was Jason in it or the other guy with the mask?
Jason would probably be
Anybody we
slaughtered
know?
by both of them.
Ah,
And Freddy would have been slaughtered by these two.
Freddie.
You don't know how good they were. They were great killers. In fact, um,
So
I
this is like Dexter's parents, is what you're saying.
possibly. I guess they could be Dexter's parents, but it again. I have to say, watch this movie. It's fantastic. But there is a
Yeah.
part where they didn't really where see, here's the thing, they did different things. One of them liked to just, throw the bodies away, and the other one chopped them up in little pieces and put them in a drain, right? So they had to get a plumber to fix something, and luckily the plumber was a cannibal, which is great. So all these things were this is just a fantastic, and the guy told a lot of bad jokes. See, that was my favorite part. The lead serial killer,
Yeah.
the husband told a lot of bad jokes. And that was my favorite part. Love all the bad jokes. Uh, Speaking of which, another bad
Interesting.
joke. I saw this on one of your threads
Well,
on X.
maybe you can do an excerpt sometime.
Yeah. Well, I saw this Karen, and her name is Karen,
Yeah.
Karen Garcia on Threads. Now she's whining. It was on I guess not on Threads, on one of your threads on X. This woman was saying that I guess from Libs of TikTok. This woman was saying
On
that she was
X.
upset about
Yeah.
ICE. Yes, she was upset about ICE,
Yes.
but she's a criminal
He's
too. So
unhappy.
first, yeah, let's hear her. But she's a criminal too.
So remember that part of the story when people are like, it's only the illegals that are going to be in trouble. No. So I was a green card holder, a documented migrant. I was part of the ones that did it the right way. Well, my mom did, right? And I was deported during the first Trump administration. So the idea, I think by now we've all seen that it's not just the illegals, right? And then people like to move the goalposts and be like, oh, well, but you committed a crime. Okay, sure. But the first goalpost is just that. If you're illegal, the people need to do it the right way. But even the people.
All right. I just want to. She's saying that she's complaining that she committed a crime and was sent away. Was deported.
Yeah.
What happened was this Anna Karen Garcia apparently had her legal status revoked because she committed felony fraud by stealing tens of thousands of dollars from multiple companies. So she's a filthy thief, but she's complaining because she was deported after breaking the actual immigration rules. So she did not do it
Exactly.
the right way. That's a
Of
problem.
course.
But that's what
Yeah.
the liberals only half listen is. She was legal. No, she was legal until she committed that felony.
Yeah. The moment you do that, it's kind of like, yeah, you get to go home and we'll pay for it, but you're going home. And so,
Yeah.
no, this is typical. And I am, I'm not unhappy about what President Trump's doing. As a matter of fact, I've been, I think those who follow me have seen that I've been tracking the U.S. aid debacle. Well, it's not really a debacle. It's like Elon Musk goes in there and it's like, oh, we don't want to show you the classified information. It's like, no, you got to show us. Oh no, we don't have to. It's like, yeah, you do.
Yes, they do.
And so the federal government, aid, the Fed, the Treasury's all like, oh, we don't have to give you access. Like, yeah, you do. And they've been doing everything they can right now to hide this. So let's be clear on what's been going on. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. USAID, I've known about USAID my entire life because I grew up in Lisbon, Portugal. USAID had an office there, and they've run parallel to the State Department. They're like something that sits between CIA and State Department. They're independent, and what they do, what they're supposed to do, is aid, is give foreign countries aid. Well, what they've become, I think they were always designed to do it, is become essentially the neocons and neolibs funding mechanism for all of their efforts, and they fund a lot of things. Like, who in their right mind funds Bill Kristol? Bill
Yeah.
Kristol, the midget neocon, his causes. Yeah, I mean,
Wait a minute. I thought he was the guy that did Fernando, wasn't he? On Saturday Night
Fernando.
Live?
That's right. That's right.
You're
So if you stack Bill Kristol and Tony Fauci together, you've got 2 feet. I'm just saying they're like small. And Bill, and I've been in line at the Excella in New York with Bill Kristol. Bill is like tiny. He's like that. I don't even know you could call him a midget. I think it's like he would insult midgets if they called him a midget. Just saying. Anyway,
Yeah.
who would fund Bill Kristol? A lot of people always thought that Bill Kristol probably went off and did some money, made money off of the Bulwark, which is, man, oh man, I get no money from the Bulwark, but I guess I should after saying this. If you want to go watch the most wretched, stupid people crying about everything that's going on to fix America, go watch the Bulwark. I mean, they are like the stupidest people. I mean, if you want to see one place all the short bus riders in the nation ended up working, the Bulwark. I mean, it's like, holy cow. And it's funny. It's like a sick pleasure. I can't resist it. It's like, oh, I got to go see what they're whining about today. It's like,
It's basically why I take a look at the Occupy Democrats page on Facebook, because you got to see what they're trying to pull today. These people, they lie up their rear end and people believe it. It's like it's like fans of Nickelback. They'll just believe anything they hear.
Yeah.
I had to throw that Nickelback thing in there because
picture of you.
Right there.
Anyway,
You go.
back to
Can I take you back to 2017 to your point?
Let's do that. Yeah,
Okay.
Look at that.
In 2017, the Heritage Foundation issued a report on USAID. They were urging the State Department during Trump's first term to probe USAID. A lot of this was, again, the neocons funded their garbage too, so I'm sure there was a lot of protection there on the Republican side. But a lot of this was funding Soros projects. Here's some. I'm going to go down a little bit here. Let's see. There were President Obama used this to fund. Here you go. Take you to this paragraph. Right? There are other problems. While ending poverty and promoting democracy enjoy broad support among Americans, the Obama administration at times turned USAID into one of its preferred instruments for promoting contentious agendas which have failed to gain consensus acceptance within American society. Basically, USAID's a money laundering scheme where politicians can float taxpayer money that that the taxpayer would normally not approve of without them knowing. So here's what they're saying. Let's see. The agendas for transgender rights, same-sex marriage, training foreign citizens in street activism, civic engagement, and mobilization. That again, it's like what you see with these anti-ICE protests.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And these were funded by a sitting administration.
So I encourage people to go to my feed. I mean, any feed. I don't care what feed you go to, but go check out what we've been saying or people are saying about what Musk is doing regarding USAID. He said basically it's all a bunch of worms. It's like there's no apple there for the worms to eat. They're all just worms, which I believe that to be true. Anyway, Chris, I don't want to challenge you on this. I think aid was compromised long before Obama It was just less obvious. It
No,
was not as obvious.
it was, and that's part of it. They also go in and talk about the Open Society Foundation and the money going that way, and that's been going on for a long time. And I believe I have a document from 1993 that discusses a training session from Soros's Open Society Foundation into the U.S. So yeah, like you said, back during the Clinton era, this was happening as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So let me be clear. Documentation.
Yeah, let me be as clear as possible about this as I speak about USAID. USAID has been the organization that is taking our appropriated money. I'm not even saying taxpayer money because they just print money. They've been taking money generated by the United States and using it to fund, as you said, Chris, every wacky cause that the American people would never support. Like I think they were doing something about transgender llamas in somewhere. I mean, nobody knows. They're funding literally millions upon millions. It was all money laundering to go to actual NGOs and PVOs who there actually was work with Soros and others. They're using our money to support Soros and undermine the United States. That's what's been going on. And as far as I can tell, it's like it's going to stop. As in, Musk has recommended we end USAID, and man, oh man, I would not agree more.
It needs to be done. Here's something else that has come out recently. This comes out through Ukraine here. Apparently, and this is from the Discern report. Apparently, Volodymyr Zelensky says that he only received, now get this, 75 billion smackers of $177 billion in U.S. aid. So my question to the Biden administration, which we know has borderline criminal, if you will, possibly very criminal business. Okay, well, I'm being nice because we're on Ed's show. So basically, we're talking about his business, criminal, whatever you want, operations, his shady deals, if you will, dirty dealings. $102 billion of U.S. taxpayer money is apparently missing, according to Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yeah.
Now, not that I trust him either.
Well, I don't think it's missing.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's missing. I think we know exactly where it is.
Okay.
I think we
missing
all know.
With the quotes.
Yeah. So Chris, we were called conspiracy theorists because we were saying, no, this is money laundering. It's not going to Ukraine. Oh, it's all going to Ukraine. It's not going to Ukraine. And Zelensky now, and the people have been asking, I've seen folks on my feed asking, well, why is he doing it now? Because he's not going to get his cut. He was happy. He was happy to get his cut of whatever, that's by the way, that's why over the years, rhinos have gone along. The Republicans in name only, they put up a good fight, but they're the friendly opposition. Like, oh, we're going to pretend to oppose you. They get a cut. They get a cut of the ill-gotten gain of the left. That's why they went along. That's why you get to Congress, you got the best intentions, and they say, yeah, it doesn't work like that here. You need to pretend, and we're going to give you a chunk. We'll make sure your constituents get stuff, but don't rock the boat. That's what, and then little by little, over the decades, all this insanity gets funded. And think about this, Chris. All of the stuff we're talking about has gone through every funding bill that Congress has done. Congress has been a co-conspirator in all of this.
Yep. And they have, and again, some of them are compromised in some ways, others get a cut. And that's what happens. Yeah. Look, you know that Mitch McConnell was compromised, obviously. We can talk about that. I'm pretty sure, and you saw him getting a little upset about confirming Pete Hegseth, because, again, the Chinese Communist Party doesn't want that, and he does not want, I'm going to say this, he does not want another sister-in-law or another relative to have another accident, if you will, like what happened to his wife's sister a little while ago.
Yeah. So, man, what is wrong with these people? I don't get it. Anyway,
there is a lot wrong. I mean, again, because they think they can keep secrets from us, and they think they can get a free ride or do whatever they want because they're career politicians now.
Yeah,
they don't have to be held accountable, because a lot of these people have safe districts. There are people who just believe the other side's always bad, and their side's always good. So their blind eye is turned to this. Imagine if Donald Trump mismanaged money like the Joe Biden administration did. Imagine what would happen if the media was asleep for 4 years, virtually.
Yeah. I don't. Well, I don't. I don't think it's mismanaged. I think it's all just pure corruption at this point. I think this is all, and I've said this before here on the show. The Biden administration wanted to have the appearance of incompetence to hide their evil. I think it was like, oh, well, Pete Buttigieg. Oh, he's just incompetent. No, he's evil.
Oh,
What was that admiral's name? That Rachel Levine. It's like, oh, well,
yeah.
she's no, she's into butchering children. These people were the worst of the worst. And by the way, I think I'm going to go on a record here with the Patriots. We ain't seen the worst of it yet. This is 2 weeks in. This is 2 weeks in.
And by the way, we're working on bringing some other. We had Trent Evans. We're working on bringing some genuine January 6th political prisoners.
Yeah, we are
talking
working
about
on
helping others. We're working on this, and Dr. Corsi's
Right.
helping us with that. He's working on a big
Yep.
project with them. So we're gonna
Yep.
get you. We're gonna give you their stories firsthand instead of us
Oh, yeah.
just telling them.
Yeah.
And that's something we want to do for you. So
Should we be balanced? Should we bring in the FBI agents who got fired for hunting him down?
Yeah, there we go.
No, I won't do that. I wouldn't do that. But it'd be
I would
funny.
like to bring
It'd
in
be
a couple
funny.
of people that prayed, though. The people that prayed in front of the Planned Parenthood and got arrested
Yeah.
and thrown in jail and were recently pardoned. I mean, this
We
is what
should bring them in too. I agree.
Right.
No, I
They're-
agree with that.
true political prisoners right there. And keep in mind, the idea was the Biden administration extended the courtesy of not blocking hospitals to abortion clinics, and that's
Yeah.
and Planned Parenthood. That's the thing. So she's praying in front of an abortion clinic, and she's nothing, not really blocking anybody. People going. She was praying, and they abused that law. They changed the law
Yeah.
and abused it. That's what they did. Yes, and we do have a cool guest coming in because we can start talking about how the left is whining about tariffs and how that actually might work in our favor. Could take a little while.
All right. Well, bring in our guest. Kenneth, right?
Yes, Ken Rapoza, who actually has been on with you on a past
Ken.
show. Yes.
I have.
Welcome.
Hey, good
Welcome,
morning,
Ken.
Ken. Good to see you
Good
again.
morning. Good morning. Good to see you.
How are you, Ken? How's it going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
Where you at? Where are you at today? Just out of curiosity.
Well, unfortunately, I'm in a home office right now in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Massachusetts, I guess I would be about an hour south of Boston, and if I had a boat, I would be about an hour sail to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard.
I love that area. Our friend Pete
Yep.
O'Brien is from that area. His parents used to have a place on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh,
I got to ask you,
Yeah.
for the Patriots, is it true they're going to change the name of the state of Massachusetts to the People's Republic of Massachusetts? Is that true? Is that true? I've heard that rumor. I hope not.
Governor. Not with our governor.
I hope not.
Only if they don't get those turbines put up by Martha's Vineyard. So that's another
That's
story.
right.
Oh,
That's-
okay. Well, listen to this. There was a
Let's
headline.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking about the turbines, okay, so about and this is a segue to our conversation. It's not part of our conversation, but I live right near the beach,
Yes.
ocean beach, not like rivers. So I was in October, I was walking the beach for the first time maybe in a month, and I saw about 12 wind turbines, not spinning, but in the wind, but on the horizon. They had just put them up. I'd never seen them before. I think that if we didn't see the wind turbines, if you didn't see them, I think most people wouldn't complain. But now we just have, in Massachusetts in particular, we have what I call landscape pollution, not one, not two, but dozens of them on the shore, on the beach, not at a port, not with LNG tankers or something, not a busy port, no, on the ocean, in the beach. And our energy bill has gone up 30% in the last year because Massachusetts requires 62% of your electricity be sourced from solar and wind.
Of course.
Wow.
Awful. It's
That's
absolutely ridiculous. It's
insane.
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane.
It's insane.
Well, Well, I'm a county commissioner here in Chewan County, North Carolina. So same thing happened here. We have turbines, which are the tallest in the freaking state of North Carolina. These things are super tall, and we're on the Albemarle Sound. We're on the inner banks. So I'm on the water, but on the inner banks, not the outer banks. And these turbines are so tall, the people in a neighboring county are suffering noise pollution, and they're complaining about it because at night, if you have a house on their side of the Albemarle Sound, it's all red. It's like an eyesore plus a light pollution source, and it's
Right.
like it's horrible. And it's like, I was talking to Dr. Keyes, who I replaced. I ran and took his seat, won his seat, and he said he voted against it. I would have voted against too. It's insane.
There was no voting. There was no voting in Massachusetts because this is in federal waters. This is Biden. This
Yeah.
isn't Massachusetts. This is federal waters. The Massachusetts governor just says, "Okay, you want to put it in? Okay, well, let's have a bid." It's just
There they are.
that's going to be an AI generated. There's no way those things are just floating on sand like that.
And that's another thing. These solar and wind turbine farms, when they're done, when they've outlived the usefulness, they become abandoned. Nobody takes care of these things.
Yeah.
At least for the most part. And so what kind of liberals are these people that we have these days? You think about this. When I was growing up, liberals used to care about the environment and animals and things like that. Now they want to put up wind turbines and to kill whales in the water, and they want to destroy the land at the same time.
And that's really
What's with these people?
That's really happening. We just had a local news story that showed how they use the language as takings. That's the language. It's not dead. They're takings. So the average pleb can, I don't know. They instantly don't know what that means, right? A whale dead. Yeah. We know what that means. Whale takings. I shut off. I'm on to the next topic. I don't know what that means. And it's been a record. It's a record because of the sonar is being messed up by the constant pile driving of these wind turbines. So let me
hit that real quick. I've got a degree in environmental studies. I actually got it because I love the environment. As a matter of fact, I feel bad if I hit a rabbit and killed it, which I unfortunately did the other night. No, I'm serious. Like I'm driving and all of a sudden this rabbit runs out. It's like
I hit a possum once. That's horrible.
No, I got possums. I live on an active farm. Our community's on an active farm. So we have all sorts of ferrets and possums, and it's wonderful. But, as someone who's actually concerned about the environment, the worst thing you can do is put up these big turbines, the turbines either on the land or in the shore. All these things do damage. And plus, to Chris's point, when you're done with them, you can't do anything. And all the materials that go in them, it's a scam. It does not produce economically viable, like you just said, Ken, they got to make you pay extra because for the privilege of renewables, like you need to have a certain percentage of it. They're more expensive. Renewables are more expensive and they don't work. So it's insane. Just saying. So I know we're off topic, but I think it's
bring me on to talk about windmills and solar, but
all right. Well, let's bring it back on topic. There was we brought you on to talk about the tariffs because there's a lot of whining and a lot of liberal. They're going to make tariffs. Tariffs are going to be horrible. We're going to have our guacamole is going to be too expensive. And I heard somebody say that just very recently. And I would like to play.
Oh yeah, this guy,
biggest fool in the Senate. Again, keep in mind, this is your Senate leader. This is your minority leader for the Democrat Party. Your thought leader. Again, same party which elected David Hogg as a vice president. You got to really think about who your thought leaders are going to be. Check this out.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday. Okay.
Let's take it. It's
going to affect beer. Okay.
All right.
Happy about it. He's happy about it.
I drink local beers. Right. I support the local businessman. I live in the Hudson Valley. We have.
Look how happy he is. Because that face, see what he's doing here. The face says, "Ha ha, you stupid Trump supporters. Ha ha, you stupid plebs. He doesn't care about you. He's going to tax your beer. Ha ha, you're dumb." That's what.
I think he was leering at AOC during this little with that face.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico.
Most beer comes from Mexico. Is that what he's saying? Yes, no, he did say that.
No, he says Corona comes from Mexico.
Well, actually, let's try that again.
Okay. It's going to affect beer. Okay. Most of it, Corona.
So he goes, most of it. Then he pulls up Corona. Comes from Mexico.
Like tequila.
Yeah. So we actually, in context, is most of it comes from Mexico. Look, by the way, I'm a Dos Equis man if you're talking Mexican beer. Well, I'll stop there. But again,
Corona here comes from Mexico.
We have lots of beers.
It's going to affect your guac. Because what is guacamole made of? Avocados.
Which are also grown in California, am I correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
But I think the taxes are higher over there too. But that's another story. Still, he's full of it.
Both from Mexico.
And that again, it's like Mexico's the only place that has beer and avocados. That's what he's telling us. So so it's going to be very, very expensive on Super Bowl Sunday, where we're going to be having wings and local craft beer or American beer anyway.
Yeah. All Budweiser.
Didn't he drink some? Isn't there part of the video where he's drinking it and he stumbles over drunk?
I think that's the stuff from Nancy Pelosi's liquor closet. That's another story.
Yeah, well, I mean, my comment to that would be, look, these are very D student level commentary, right? About the tariffs, because we could talk about this forever, but we would have more avocados in this country if we weren't reliant on importing avocados from Mexico.
Exactly.
It's cheaper.
Exactly.
So okay, so what's the response here? The response would be, we can't deport people because who's going to pick our strawberries?
Yep.
We can't do that. So we
Oh,
got
wash our dishes.
to
Wash
keep
the
them here.
dishes.
We have no choice. We have to keep
Clean
them
our
here.
toilets.
I know
Yeah.
they killed someone. I know they ripped the fences down at the border and charged in so they can get a free hotel stay at the Roosevelt. I know, but who's going to pick the strawberries? They have to stay. And we can't have trade. We can't have balanced trade with other countries. We have to have 100 billion, 200 billion, 500 billion dollar deficits with trading partners, because where are we going to get beer? Where are we going to make guacamole? How are we going to put tomatoes on our McDonald's? I mean, how, you stupid plebs? How are you going to do that? So we have to do it. There's no answer. So that's really what they're trying to say. You guys are stupid. If you keep doing this, you're not going to be able to buy all these things that you buy because the world doesn't make it. Because the world makes it, we don't make it, and that's, you know. So we have to keep on this trajectory.
Yeah. So I'm doing something with my son. My son is actually he's 18, and I forced him to get a real suit. So we're going up to, we bought it. I don't want to give any free advertising to it, but it's one of the nationwide providers. The suit we bought him is made in the United States. So there's no reason to think that we can't, as the United States, make high quality goods. That's my point. It's like we can do everything the world can do. As a matter of fact, we can do it better. But somehow this idea that we have to be part of the global community and we have to pay the price. The other thing I want to hit real quick, Ken, you may know about the climate accord, right? The Paris Climate Accord, kind of circling back to environmental.
Mhm.
So the only country on that accord, let me phrase this in the form of a question. Do you know what country was the only country to actually meet its carbon emissions goals, reduction goals?
Okay, I'm gonna say the United States. It's a guess, but I'm gonna say
It is. It was us.
Yeah. Okay.
And every other nation exceeded them by a lot. I mean, now let me be clear for the audience. CO2 is not a problem. CO2 is plant food. CO2, if you take CO2 away, we all die. It's like, oh, we want to reduce it. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is like saying we want to take hemoglobin out of your blood. No, we want your blood is too red. We need to take hemoglobin out. That's the same thing. Just say it. I'm just saying, it's like these people are nuts. Anyway, I digress. But my point is that nobody else on that accord actually met up to. So Trump said, "F y'all, we're not funding your BS," and somehow he's the bad guy. Oh, you're coming. It's like, no. I mean, these people are evil. And so I don't know, Ken, what do you think? I mean, I think Trump did the right thing by saying, enough.
So on the topic of leaving the Paris Accord, remember he did that in his first go round as president, right? He left that, and I think his argument there, and I don't have any insider knowledge, and I'm gonna try to do some mind reading here. I think that his thinking process here is, if I have to lower my greenhouse gases, which we're doing anyway,
yeah,
but that is an impediment to my industrial base growing, or maybe
it is
burning oil. But it's not an impediment to China growing. It's not an impediment to Mexico growing. Right. Then that's a problem for me, because now my company, the widget factory, is going to say, why am I firing on all 8 cylinders at this factory in Michigan making a widget, let's say a Sierra pickup truck, when I could just make it in Mexico? I have the same platform in Mexico. I can make the same car there. I'll use the factory there and fire on all and go to 100% capacity at the factory there, because it's just not only is the labor cheaper, but maybe I can expand. I don't have to deal with certain type of environmental rules. So that's just economics 101. So he knows that, especially when China's not a party to this, right? China's not a party. So like, why? How the whole conversation in the world about global trade is the United States and China are peer competitors now. This is the great, I forget the term, but like, these power dynamics are changing around the world. It's not the United States Union, it's the United States and China. So why, if everyone knows that the main competitor is United States and China, why do I have to do things that China doesn't have to do? That's like starting football game on the. That's like the super. That's like Mahomes getting the ball on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
At the start of every down. It's like, why?
Yeah,
well, he could pitch pretty good.
That's why he left I think that's why he left.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you're right.
Let's turn this around, gentlemen. Let's turn this around to let the liberals understand. We have to start thinking like one of them sometimes. And I'm going to try. It's hurting right now, but here's how we can explain it to them. You are when you're screaming about tariffs and not having cheaper products from China and Mexico, what you're saying is you're supporting virtual slave labor, child labor in these two nations that American companies can actually go pick from to make your I don't know, to bring you whatever liberal product you like, your guacamole or anything else like that. Instead of the unionized workers, you fought so hard for the last, I don't know, 150, 175 years to bring in. And now your buying habits are screwing the very workers that you're telling us we need to be supporting. But you're not supporting them. You're doing the opposite of supporting them. You're hurting them. You're taking their livelihoods away, all because you want guacamole at 15 cents less. Or maybe or Corona. I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. But what I am saying is they're basically for their own selfish gain supporting the very things that they don't want American companies to do to their workers. That's what I'm
part of this. Part of this is globalism. Part of this is the neocons, neolibs, and like we've been talking, Ken, and I don't know if you've been following it. We talked about at the opening of the show, USAID.
Oh yeah,
dismantled. And Susan Power, she is evil. She's married to Cass Sustin. That guy is another globalist. And so what they've done and what they're doing is trying to make us part of a global community that basically removes all nationalistic ideas, the idea of self-reliance. They want us to be essentially tied to the government. The government controls resources. What that 15-minute cities, is that what they call it, Chris? It's
15-minute cities. Yes, 15-minute cities.
So the idea is that you will own nothing and eat bugs and be happy. And that's what
you
they've
live
been
in a bubble.
driving towards. Yeah.
You live in a bubble. 15-minute bubble. Everything you need is going to be in there, but you won't own a thing. You leave your apartment and somebody else will stay there while you're going to work. If you're going to work and not doing remote work, because
yeah, it's like being in a Navy submarine. Someone is called a hot bunk. Yeah, someone's always sleeping in your bed, and it's not you.
I prefer a yellow submarine.
That's right. We all live in one. Anyway, but by the way, just another quick point. I know we're being a lot of science today. Science, as Bill Nye says.
Science.
CO2 is not a greenhouse gas. Do you know what I know, Ken, I know you didn't study for this, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do you know what a major greenhouse gas is that they want to absorb?
I'm going to say nitrogen or methane.
No, water. Water.
Oh boy! Oh no, that's bad.
Clouds. No. My point. It's a trick question, but it's not because clouds reflect the sun and energy. So this is how stupid they are. It's like no. Water does actually have the effects of reflection, especially in some regions. So they lie to us. My point is, Ken, they lie to us constantly. Methane a little bit. That's why I think we ought to line the Democrats up in the North Pole and let them all eat beans and produce a lot of methane to create northern lights. What do you think? They could all light it off at once. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh man!
Can I
answer that question?
Can I pull you guys back to tariffs for a moment? I just want to.
All right.
I want to do this because it has to do with national security too, and so it's got the two best guys to talk about these things right here. Here's the thing about tariffs. We all know about the unfair practices from other nations, but we have a history as a nation because of the globalists, the early globalists.
Right.
This country has engineered itself to be in a position where most of our trade with most of our trade balances are in the other nation's favor. Okay, this includes Canada. This includes some third world nations, obviously China, developing countries, and a lot of our friends in Europe. But the idea is, we as America, the richest country, has the mentality was to help the other nations along and get stronger. At this point now, it's abused. We have a terrible trade imbalance with nations like Canada, which doesn't need that kind of imbalance with us. We have a terrible trade imbalance with nations like China because of American companies, American interests there that shouldn't be
Right.
there.
Right.
And so the idea of Trump using these trade imbalances to instill tariffs as diplomatic weapons instead of sending mercenaries and soldiers out to war, that seems to be a more effective tool, all things considered now, doesn't it? As far
Okay.
as diplomacy and everything all around.
Okay,
You
so
first,
look,
Ben.
yeah, so the Mexico, let's go look at the Mexico and Canada tariffs, right? So the Mexico and Canada tariffs are designed to exact concessions from Mexico and Canada on the migrant crisis. Now, many people would say that Canada is not a hotbed of migrants crossing into New York, which I believe is true. But it's not zero. It's not hundreds. It's maybe a few thousand during a quarter. Okay, it's not, but it used to be almost nothing. Okay, so I don't understand exactly why Canada was considered part of that national security reason for the tariffs in terms of using migrants and fentanyl as well. We know there's some Mexican drug cartels supposedly in Canada shipping fentanyl into the United States. That's the reason that Trump gave for Canada. But Canada is in a distant third behind Mexico and China. China produces a lot of the fentanyl products that go to Mexico. Mexico is obviously the main target here. Mexico, though, that's what the tariffs are for. Okay, so these tariffs might not last the winter, right? Because I think Mexico is going to cooperate because Mexico is going to do whatever Washington says.
Yes.
Do you really think that
It did before.
Yeah. Do you really think that Mexico wanted caravans of strangers? Because they weren't all
No.
Mexicans coming through the border. Caravans of strangers led by their drug cartels walking across the border, banging down fences with the Customs and Border Patrol agents just sitting there like Keystone cops, letting them in, putting them on buses so they can get a free night at the Roosevelt Hotel. Mexico probably didn't want that. That's not Mexico's interest. That's not Mexico's core concern. Right.
Right.
But they really don't want all these people coming through the borders. It's not of interest to Mexico, let's say, right? It's not interest in any country.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's a complete mess.
Right.
But they were
Right.
told to do that. They were told to let the caravans through, let these people through by Washington, by the Biden administration, by Homeland.
Exactly.
They're being told the opposite. Now they're being told the opposite. And they are going to comply. They're going to comply. Now, what does that mean? I think what it means is, okay, so if you can imagine, this part of the border is policed by CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, and the Texas military, Texas National Guard. Now, I think that's been deputized. Okay, or the police has been deputized rather.
Yep.
There'll be other areas where
Oh.
the Mexican police will help out. We have Mexican cartels having shootouts with CBP agents on the border. That cannot happen.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
if that happens, the tariffs are going to stay. So Trump is saying, okay, we're going to police over here. You're going to police over there. Can you help a brother out? Can you help? We're supposed to be friends. Can you help a brother out? Now, here's another thing. Okay, we have a fentanyl problem. Yes, I know you don't have a fentanyl problem in Mexico City like we have in San Francisco and Philly. I know, I get it. But all your boys sell it to us, and I get it. Americans, they're addicted. And when you're addicted, you need more. When you're addicted to something, you need more. So can you help a brother out? You got to do something with Jalisco, Sinaloa, Jalisco, and Gulf cartels. Those are the main ones that sell fentanyl into the country. I want to see some action there. I want to see them go the way of Cali and Medellin in Colombia in the 1980s, 1990s.
So Ken, have you read the book Killing Pablo?
No, I have not.
Mark Bowden. So I highly recommend it because you just mentioned Medellin and Cali. So I know Mark. He's a good guy, author, and it was really kind of funny. I was down at the very unit, assigned to the very unit he talks about in that book that was involved, a U.S. military black operations unit. I was actually assigned to it when he did the book signing down at Fort Bragg. It was back when I was still undercover before I got exposed. Anyway, my point being, you ought to read that because we, the United States Special Operations folks, took a heavy role in eliminating the Medellin and Cali cartels. Just saying.
Yep.
So it's been proposed that we do that in Mexico? What do you
Yes,
think?
absolutely. Well, absolutely. We're not going to hear about that until maybe years later because that's all that's all secret stuff, right? And of course,
That's
you don't
fine.
want
That's fine.
right. That's
Yeah.
all. And I think the Mexican government, I would doubt that the Mexican government says no, we're not going to do that. I think the Mexican government's going to do that because the DEA is already there working with Mexican, federales and police. So I think, as Tony said, you're going to hear about things like that. Jalisco and Sinaloa and Gulf cartels days could be numbered, and I think no one's going to cry over that in Mexico. Certainly not, and certainly not in San Francisco and Philly, which looks like some sections look like a dystopian novel, science fiction novel.
Yeah.
So that's why those tariffs exist. Okay, that's why those 25% tariffs exist. So these tariffs might not last. These are not the tariffs that Trump talks about and his Commerce Secretary talks about, Howard Lutnick and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talk about when they think about revenue, so we can lower our fiscal deficit. Revenue, so we can extend the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which expires next year. These aren't those, because if Mexico and Canada comply with these issues, of which Trump said were paramount, fentanyl reduction and border control, then how can Trump say, well, we're going to keep him here? Well, for what reason? You said you're going to put him here for border and fentanyl. We did it, and now the tariffs are still on. So that would be kind of odd that they remain. I think you can go before these.
Well, it'll be so. I want to hit you on that, Ken, because one of the proposed changes, which I actually support, is, and by the way, people don't remember because we're not that old. There was a time when there was no personal income tax. Before World War I,
Yes.
we did not pay personal tax, which is like, I kind of think we ought to go back to that. So he's proposed an external revenue service versus internal revenue service, which means that the income to run the United States, well, first off, it needs to be limited, because unlimited income, basically going to people and fleecing them, or getting to the point of where you just print money, that's not healthy. It doesn't help anybody. I live in North Carolina. I'm a county commissioner. We have to live within our budget, and you have to make choices which relate to income versus what you use expenditures. The federal government got away from that. So I think there needs to be a revamping of the whole system, because you can't just have unlimited printing of money. It's unhealthy. But do you think it's possible? Do you support it? The idea of an external revenue service that removes income tax. What do you think?
Well, at the coalition, we definitely support what's called revenue tariffs, right? And then the reason for that really is it's not a super high tariff, right? It's not a super high tariff. It's probably between 10%, max 20. A lot of the currency fluctuation between the dollar and others markets will erase a lot of that. So the price will still be attractive for, it's not going to lead to reshoring, so to speak, right? Tony and Chris aren't going to say, oh no, now it's going to cost $3.50 for the widget instead of $3. Oh well, the peso shrunk by is 7% weaker, so therefore, you know what I mean. So there's a lot of calculation to be made. Well, if you have the revenue, and it doesn't have to be an external revenue service. Maybe it could just be through the IRS. You can, as I said, the government is thinking we have to lower this fiscal deficit, which is about $1.9 trillion. We have to lower this. We have to figure out how to get this under control. And we want to extend the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, because if that expires and the corporate tax rate goes from 22% to 28% or 30%, what a corporation is going to do? They're not going to say, oh, I'm going to open a factory in the United States. Oh, I'm going to invest more and expand here. They're going to say, oh, I'm going to go do it in Mexico because it's right next door. Why would I do it here? I'm going to go do it in Canada where I can have a factory and it's 15% tax for a factory there. So he wants to extend that. To extend that Tax Cut and Jobs Act, you have to have revenue coming in. Otherwise, how else are you going to get it?
Yeah, and the enforceability would be an interesting point too. But I'm pretty sure that a plan could be put together there. I do also appreciate Donald Trump's use of tariffs as possible diplomatic weapons, like he did with the Colombian president. That guy folded what in 3 hours? In 3 hours, he took the immigrants. Yeah. It was, but this is good, because the threat of guys like Donald Trump or Javier Milei or Marine Le Pen taking power and maybe doing these things are going to probably set I hate to say a new world order, but at least set these nations in line where globalism's dead and we all still kind of have to work together. But we're not going to take any crap from anybody else, because now we don't have to. We don't have to weaken our nation or kneecap ourselves just to make everybody stronger.
The other thing, so Ken, the last thing we have to cover, because we have to get going anyway, is Marco Rubio to Panama. And Marco Rubio didn't even have to wear a Panama hat to get the guy to come around. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that was interesting. Well, Panama is more interested. Panama has a closer relationship with the United States historically, right? Not, I mean, they've been friends. You know, me and Chris have been friends for 20 years. Tony comes along and he wants me to do something that Chris maybe doesn't like. Well, sorry, Tony, we can still be friends, but me and Chris have been friends for 30 years, and you know,
Right.
I'm sure we could work it out. We can always work things
Yeah,
out.
there it is.
I mean,
Here's your Panama hat. Remember
Right.
that song? Remember that song from 1961 or 63 by Dodie Stewart? I think her name was called.
I don't know.
It's the one the Panama. I forget what it's called. Yeah, there was a song about a guy named Dooley had a Panama hat. Geez, now I got to remember this one. Oh
Boy, that's obscure. I mean, I know obscure. That's like
no, I got this. I
micro
got this.
obscure.
I got it's tan shoes and pink shoelaces. It's pink shoelaces. That's what it's called. That's right. From was it Dodie Stevens? She was I believe 13 when she did the song.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
She I'd be in her 70s, right? Maybe yeah.
I guess
She's not 13 in that picture. Please tell me.
I think maybe she was
she was
16.
an old 13. She was
Yeah,
an old
Here she
13.
is some years
That's
ago.
how it looked like years ago. That's how people look. They're like 14
her?
years old. And they look like
That's her
40.
about 10 years ago with
Yeah.
her daughter.
Yeah.
Um, But I will say this: I would like to see us at least ease up when it comes to Canadian imports and bring in some more apples, because I understand apples are
Yeah.
very effective when talking to idiot reporters from the left.
That was a great interview. We don't have time to do it, but that's a great interview. I love that interview.
The munching on the apple.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we got to go. It's been a fast hour as always. Ken, we appreciate you being here. Ken Rapoza. So the Coalition for a Prosperous America. You know, but do you, by the way, before we go, do you get hate mail from the left because of your organization's title? Because they got to hate you guys.
No, I don't get any. I never heard of any. But we try to be bipartisan. Good. We try to be bipartisan as much as we can because
so do we.
Because
so do we. But we're
we want to.
It's gone. You know, we're going to go out of business. You know, we want to do what a lot of people want to do, including on the left. They want to make this a place that is a prosperous nation, right? And you know, and you got to take it to the global sometimes.
Yeah,
America has for a long time, since the days of Ross Perot, the populists in this country have been saying, we don't want to be an empire. We don't want foreign intrigue. We don't want regime change wars. We want to make a living. We want to survive. We want, you know, live long and prosper here in the United States. But
yeah,
Washington did not listen to them. They pretended they were going to listen to them, hope and change, all these other things, and it became regime change, war, this war, that war. Oh, we got to give money to this. Oh, we got to bring democracy here. Oh, we got to open the market in China. Oh, we got to help the Latin Americans. And it was always nothing for the United States until Trump came to town. And you mentioned Marco Rubio going to Panama. One thing he said in his hearing to be the Secretary of State, which he won overwhelmingly because he's former Senate Foreign Affairs Committee guy, and that's who voted him in. He said, we're gone are the days when I don't remember verbatim, but something like this. Gone are the days when all we worry about in Washington is our interests abroad, and we're going to pay more attention to the homeland. And I think Democrats and Republicans both agree to that. There are certainly many Democrats who agree to that. Many. Well,
we all get to that point, Ken, that we're not as interested in broads. You know, we all settle down. We do.
Well, unless you're Bill Clinton.
Except Bill, he still likes broads. Just saying.
He definitely had interest abroad.
I feel your pain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And you know what?
All right.
Yeah, that's.
He brought us NAFTA. You know, he's a NAFTA signer.
Yeah.
I signed it.
Yeah. So, and you know, we had one of his attackees on. Paula Jones has been on our show. You know.
Oh yeah, she's a regular guest now. She's cool.
Oh wow, I feel
she's great.
She's part of the family.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's part of the family here.
I'm part of the same green room crowd as Paula Jones now. I've
arrived.
I've arrived.
You're one degree away. You're like the 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You're 1 degree away from.
I'm 2 degrees away from Bill Clinton. Wow.
No, we should do this. We should do this 6 degrees of Tony Shaffer. That would be brilliant. We have to figure out how this all works out here. The 6 degrees of Tony Shaffer. That's even better than Kevin Bacon. That's the next game. We're doing that in match game together. There we go.
I love that show. Remember that show, Match Game? That was a classic. I remember being probably 5, 6 years old watching that.
Yep.
Gene
Rayburn. Probably shouldn't have been. But
Gene Rayburn in the Match Game. Okay. Oh yeah.
So, anyway, well, I got to go. We got to go. It's great seeing you, Ken. Chris, obviously, thank you
We got. I think Tony's microphone went out.
Yeah, it went in and out.
Oh, did it go out? Hold on.
Oh, he's back.
Hold on.
Tony's back. The
I'm
man
back.
behind the mask.
And so it's like it's a freaking Chinese. They don't like my microphone. Anyway, so I'll see you. We'll see you all tomorrow. Patriots, right?
Yes, tomorrow we're going to have Karen
Right.
and we're going to have Barry Morgenstein on
tomorrow.
with us. Yes.
That's right, Barry. All right, good. Well, thanks, Ken. Thanks, Patriots. Great show. We enjoyed our time with you guys. Remember, don't put windmills up if you can avoid it, and encourage tariffs if they make sense. Only if they make sense. So,